Hello, hello, everybody. It is what day is it? I think it's Thursday, and I'm doing PoliTarology with Sibyl Harmony. I'm so glad to have her back on the channel, and just to get everybody on the same page here. My sister couldn't be with me tonight, and so I'm just solo trying to look at the comments. So, and you know how bad I am at this. I suck. I'm sorry, I just suck. So while Sibyl is telling you all the wonderful things that's going on with her, I'm going to go and star a few things. And after that, it's just kind of a crapshoot. I'll try to get some things starred, but I'm, like I said, really bad at this. So
the wonderful thing that's going on with me or in politics, or what do you want me to start with?
Yeah, what's going on with your channel? What's going on with you and stuff like that? Okay.
Well, I am teaching some classes on developing your intuition and learning how to heal yourself and others if you choose to do that. So guiding people through, I have an angel class coming up August 9th, and then doing shadow work. And there's a class in September and October. So those are all on my website. I have members on Saturday, the second and fourth Saturday, where I answer questions and do guided healings. And so, and I'm working on getting up to 17,000 subscribers on my channel. So I'm just really loving it and enjoying working with everybody. I still do private sessions. I'm booking in probably August now. But okay.
Great. Yeah. Oh, Sibyl, that's great. Your classes sound wonderful. I wish I was a little more freed up. I would take every single one of them because I think you're such a wonderful teacher, wonderful healer. So, and everybody, please make sure that you, if you're not already subscribed to Sibyl's channel, highly likely that you're already subscribed. But if you're not, please take a minute to go to her channel, Sibyl Harmony on YouTube, and subscribe because her videos are great. She does great readings. And like I said, fabulous teacher and healer, and you'll want to take advantage of all of those services from her. So for me, we're doing this show, and that's really all I'm going to talk about tonight. I'm too frazzled to go over any other things. But if you're subscribed to me, then you're going to get notifications when I'm either going live or when I have a post telling you about an upcoming show. So make sure you're subscribed to both our channels so you don't miss anything that we're going to be doing. Now, tonight, I'm not even going to read this. I'm just going to start. It looks like it's a question. So tonight, what we're going to start talking about is this very recent revelation about Dumpy's health. So it was said that, let me go to the starred questions here. This was from CC Sassy, and somebody else also mentioned it. Actually, a couple people mentioned it. She said they just, well, I'm assuming it's a C. I'm not a she. I'm not really sure. They just announced Trump has chronic venous insufficiency, which explains his swollen legs. He wants to know, is this just to downplay a more serious health issue? Well, we all know he has a gazillion health issues. Let me just see if I can find that other one. Michelle Barrington wanted to know, why did they start talking about Dumpy's health? And Rhapsody and Rainbow says the newly released info regarding 45's diagnosis seems like the administration is minimizing his health issues. Will there be more news soon? Well, you know, Dumpy is like the kings and emperors of old. They don't want anyone to witness any weakness on their part. They feel like that would make people lose confidence in them. So that he just goes with that old school kind of philosophy. But I think what we'll do is, I'm sure all of those answers that you guys just asked will be answered as we read about this for Dumpy. So I'm going to, Sibyl, do you want to go first with this, or do you want me to go first, or how do you want to do this?
Go ahead, because I pulled some cards and I'm looking at him. I see energy psychically, and I also pull cards to kind of validate that. But go ahead and read. What are you getting astrologically?
Well, astrologically. So let's go into that.
Did you look at that?
Yes, I did actually look at that. Let me just go to his chart. Yeah, so right now, let me just make this a little smaller. In his chart, he doesn't have super duper a lot of horrible things, except he does have Pluto is, Pluto's just early in Aquarius, and Pluto is opposing his Saturn and Venus. And Saturn is Trump's ruler of his house for health, but it's in the 12th house. So he always has kept his health a secret, and he always has pretty much hidden things about his health from everybody, from himself, from his family, from the public. I mean, from everybody. He just doesn't like to talk about his health, and he doesn't want to ever appear that he's weak in any way. But with Pluto in opposition to that Saturn and Venus, Pluto can be very debilitating. It's a very strong planet, and it exaggerates and emphasizes and intensifies anything that's going wrong, that it looks at, that it focuses on. So I would say, yeah, I mean, basically Trump is looking at basically the rest of his life just having severe health issues that are really going to probably diminish his ability to be a leader in anything, in business or politics, in life, in his family. He's going to be on his downfall. I have very often likened him to the Shakespearean story of King Lear. I mean, he is just losing his vive, his chi. He's losing his power, his life source, his power. And also just currently right now, Pluto is in opposition to the sun in the sky. So it's just gaining power from that connection, which it's allowing Pluto to throw its kind of, Pluto's not always negative, but allows Pluto to really throw its weight around with that Saturn in Trump's chart. Saturn has Pluto in his first house. So it's a planet that he's very, very sensitive to and probably pretty tuned into. Let me see what else I can see about this.
Can I ask you a question about the 12th house?
Yes.
Isn't that about viruses or diseases, the 12th house?
Well, the 12th house is the hidden house. It's where things go to be forgotten. It's your subconscious, it's your dreams, some people think it's kind of, I'll skip that, what some people think, but it's the house of self-sabotage. The reason you probably have picked up that it was diseases is because the 12th house is affiliated with Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is associated with viruses. So it's not necessarily that he has some sort of kind of a virus, although I personally believe that he has been suffering from a either misdiagnosed or an untreated case or an antibiotic resistant case of some sort of venereal disease like syphilis. And I think that goes along with
my next question would be hidden sexual things.
Yes. And I have said this for over a year now. I've said this because his time in New York, where he was going around to like Studio 54 and hanging out with Mr. Epstein, I'm pretty sure that he didn't carry like a jumbo carton of Trojans in his car. He just was not being careful. So, and people are like, oh, he's the president. He's got the best doctors in the world. Does he? I mean, look at the doctors that he's gone to. No, he doesn't. He goes to doctors that can give him what he needs. And he's in denial about real health issues, especially concerning him. So I've talked enough. What do you have?
Well, I'm looking at, when I looked at him, he just looked so angry the other day. He looked like he wanted to end somebody's life. He was just furious. And it reminded me of when he said I could stand on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and no one would do anything. Like, I can do whatever I want, and if you don't shut up, I'll kill you or something. That's what it looked like. He's just angry. But today I saw him like in bed, like kind of grumpy and like, get out of here. So he's probably up in front of the camera, but when you look at him, he doesn't really breathe. He's kind of like, when you look at him in 2016, he was, I tried to like him. I couldn't, but I, because he was the president, you're supposed to like the president, but I'm like, I can't. And I didn't really know who he was. And then I found out, but anyway. So, but he had this robustness, this strength about him that he conveyed, that I'm that, and he would stand there. Now he's just like all hunched over like this, and his eyes are kind of going, swimming around in his head a little bit, and he's just, and he just looked like, and he's leaning forward, and everybody else is sitting at the table like this, and he's like, hunched over, and I'm just like, God, his energy just looks horrible. And then people talk about the smell he has. One of the ways that I can smell people's health, and I've had even people like nurses tell me that when their partner was getting sick, they could smell it before. So he has this odor about him. He probably tries to cover up with perfume or cologne or whatever, but I feel like he has this odor about him. His energy just looks unwell. And I pulled a card and I feel like he's just pushing himself, and he doesn't listen to anybody that says, and nor does anyone say to him, sir, maybe you want to take a couple weeks off or a day. He's like always in front of the camera. Did you see when he went in front of that soccer team? They booed him at the stadium when he went to a soccer, and that team that won, he went and stood with them when they were getting the trophy, and you could see the players going, why are you here?
Yeah.
And the guy was trying to usher him like, time to go off the stage. And so he stood there when they got the trophy, just standing there, and they're all just like, why? And then they photoshopped him out of the picture.
and one little capper on that. He
doesn't know what he's doing. He really just doesn't even know what he's doing a lot. And so anyway, I feel like he's pushing himself hard. So this is he's pushing past the limit. So all the things in the government are causing him stress. And then we have the death card reversed. I'm not sure what this is, so I pulled it. What's affecting him is stress, what he's dealing with, and then an outcome. I have this card, the night, and so I don't know if this is us receiving good news that finally something happened, or he's going to pull through it somehow. Yeah. So, I mean, this could be that any one of these things happen. And so, yeah, that's not good. If I was giving him a reading, I'd be like, wow, you really need to slow down and stop and listen to your doctors. Yeah.
Yeah. And this thing that they just diagnosed him with, what is it again? Chronic venous insufficiency. I mean, that's indicative of somebody who has damage in their body. The veins are not working right. They're not pumping the blood back to his heart.
That's very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
If something happens, they'll rush him to, Walter Reed or wherever and shoot him up with some stuff.
Yep.
And he'll keep, like the ever ready bat, he'll keep going.
Yeah. I got very similar cards to you too. I mean, but I did get the Four of Pentacles, him hanging on for dear life, crossed by the world. So this is his demise.
This is very bad. It could, on one timeline, it could be read like, well, this could be it. It could be.
Could be.
But they'll probably just take him to, wherever, and I don't know, give him a steroid shot. I don't know what they do.
Yeah. Shock his heart back into beating and all of that stuff. Yeah, I really get that. Like, it's like a Frankenstein story, like he's just, they just keep adding little things that will just kind of keep him going and bring him back to life.
The thing that he's really enjoying is causing all this suffering. It's like he feeds off of it, off of other, that's what a narcissist or a psychopath does, feeding off all the suffering that he's causing and all the money he's making that he's stealing. And so that's what's kind of keeping him going, because he knows he's doing that. And it's just gotten to it. I just watched these interviews where he's in there with diplomats, world diplomats and stuff, and they're in there talking about Jeffrey Epstein, and he's in there telling people to shut up in front. I'm like, how does this ever? I mean, this is just crazy land. And sometimes I laugh, and sometimes I'm like, yeah. But the amount of suffering he's causing with the immigrant families and stuff. It's just
it's really sick.
It is.
It's really sick. And I agree with you. He enjoys inflicting this suffering. He's got in his chart, he has Mars conjunct his ascendant, and Mars is the planet of aggression and war. It also can be the planet of like not torture, but of attack, of hurting people. So in some ways, this is just built into his personality. And right now, Mars in Virgo is going through his second house, which is how you value yourself. And so he is getting a big rush out of this because he's feeling like now we're doing it right. Now we're doing it the way I've always wanted to do it. And that's down to me. I'm making this happen. Like a huge narcissistic ego trip that he's on. And that energy is keeping him going. It's literally not his life force, but his ego, his will, that is just keeping him going and making him feel like he's the conqueror, which is so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, really bad. Do you want to look at more about him, or do you want to go on to one of the other victims that we picked?
One of the other what?
Victims.
Well,
like Netanyahu or Ghislaine or Epstein or somebody like that?
Well, I wanted to talk about what I got about the Epstein.
Yes, please tell us.
So I was watching this show. They aren't psychics. They're just Chris Hedges, and I think Nick Bryant are their names. So they had this show, and they were on Chris Hedges came out in 2015 with more information on the Epstein case than Pam Bondi did. And they had found a closet with all this child pornography on his island. There was like a whole closet full. And when they found that agents were in there watching all that and getting all that information. They found victims. There was a big client list. There was an Israeli diplomat. Harvey Weinstein was in there. Of course, they had a Jesuit. I can't think of his name now. He's a far right wing. Alan Dershowitz.
Yes.
And of course, Bill Clinton and Dumpy. He's in there. So they said they had pictures, naked young girls sitting on Dumpy's lap, and other gross stuff that I don't really want to talk about on this channel. But I mean, and I think this is important because we need to understand it's important to protect children. And I think in Americans, whatever side you're on, we recognize that it's just inhuman to not to do that we have to protect children. So anyway, they came out with all this information, and then Pam Bondi just releases this this little tiny bit of like, oh, here's the files. No, it wasn't. Everybody always knows there was more. That 45 was on their flight logs. That there was a group sex bed on that plane. That they were best friends. There's all these articles and pictures of them at parties together, and so then Epstein and Dumpy had a falling out, and there was also evidence in that closet they found that there was blackmail happening. That what Epstein would do was he would get these wealthy guys in there, tape them. That's why he had all the tapes, and then he was blackmailing all these people.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked my guides, like, what do you want me to know about this? And they showed me that he was blackmailing Dumpy. That's why they had a falling out.
Yeah.
That's why when he was president, he ended up in, like, get this guy, he ended up, with a case and being convicted. And Pam Bondi even let somebody go, or she was involved in this in Florida. I'm not sure how much she was involved with that. That wasn't clear to me, but that he was being blackmailed. Dumpy was being blackmailed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, okay, so if he's deceased, then, and I'm a medium, like I reached out, like, where are you, to talk to Epstein, and I saw him, and he's not really crossed over because he doesn't want to, he's afraid to do that after what he's done, but he's not here either. Okay. So he's earthbound.
Yeah.
And I saw him around 45, around the White House. I feel like he mostly hangs out around his old island, like peeking around, like he doesn't want people to really know he's there. But I feel like he is kind of outside in the garden or peeking around places, but he's still there. So I don't know what they did with that island, but I feel like his energy is there. But I also feel like it's around 45. And he showed me, I want to take his power because he killed me. You know, for entertainment purposes only, this is just what I'm seeing as a medium. And so, yeah. So he wants to take, like, because I asked him, like, why aren't you trying to take other people down? Well, because he killed me. He had him killed. Now, this isn't a court. I don't have evidence. Like I said, it's entertainment purposes only. But this is what my guides are showing me. And so my question to you is he going to be able to take him down? What's going to happen with this? What's going to happen with Ghislaine? Is she going to come out and so, because if this is all a hoax that was created by the Democrats, which was ridiculous because they weren't even in office when he was charged. And, you know, so is Ghislaine going to get out? Is she going to, because I saw psychically that she got out, but then I felt like she got stuck somewhere else because nobody in the world, who wants her in their country?
Yeah, that's true. Well, where in the world would she be safe?
Where would she go? Yeah.
Yeah, where would she be safe?
Somewhere by herself and be a hermit? Because, like, who would want to be around her? She might be able to pay some people off or have some dark friends around her, but you're never going to have a normal life again. You're not going to be walking at the grocery store or wherever, going to a dinner or something, because everyone will go, there's the, the child abuser. So I'm wondering what's going to happen with her. And I guess he can, keep lying to I feel like he lost some support. Dumpy. Some people are standing up to him, but Congress, the Dems tried to pass a bill saying we need to have a committee and we need to see all the evidence, and the Republicans voted him out. No, you're not. They're still protecting him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a huge number of reasons why they would continue to do that. One of which being that they're greedy and stupid, but well, for Ghislaine, I did look at her chart. And so I'm just going to tell you really quick what I found. It's not, I didn't make a huge number of notes, but I did make some notes. So right now, transiting Saturn with Neptune is squaring her natal Mars. And this is tough energy for her, but energizing. It's an energizing time for her. Saturn and Neptune are in Aries, which is the sign of newness, of new energy, and also forceful, aggressive, going forward energy. So both Saturn and Neptune are sparking her imagination in unusual ways. The Saturn is sparking her imagination as it comes to her own the law and her legal rights, and Neptune is sparking her imagination in her creative mind and her creative thinking. And with all these revelations about Epstein and the fact that the MAGA now, or rather Bondi, is saying that everything is a hoax, that there are no client lists, etc., this is the perfect time for her to challenge her incarceration. So she's trying to bring her case, right? That's all shown in the astrology. And Jupiter in her chart is going towards her natal moon. And her natal moon is, in her third house. So she's always thinking and using her emotions. But also, she's a very persuasive person. She has a moon in Leo, which makes sense for what she was doing for Mr. Epstein. But I feel that when Jupiter, which is the planet of opportunity, hits that natal moon, which is going to be not until September of 2026, that's when she'll really be free. Now, she may have already started her lawsuits and already gained her physical freedom from jail well before that, but real true freedom for her won't be there, I feel, until September of 2026. So something's going to happen leading up to September 2026 that's very, very good for her. Now we're coming tomorrow. We start a Mercury retrograde in Leo, which is also triggering that moon because it's in the same sign. Mercury is in Leo. And so for the next couple of weeks, I feel that you are going to see her in the news. You're going to hear her name and you're going to hear the Epstein stuff for a few weeks. This is going to be batted around in the news. And so that's good for her. To bring her to the attention of the public is good because she is the antithesis of, she's a reminder of exactly the opposite of what Trump's administration is putting out there, that, oh, this is all, there's nothing to the Epstein thing and this is all a hoax and yada, yada, yada. I mean, well, if there is, then why the hell is this woman serving 20 years,
Yeah, it's just so stupid.
Right. So, I don't know exactly what will happen with her case. It's not real clear to me. I didn't do a huge deep dive into her chart, but I think that Pam Bondi as an AG is probably headed for the door. I mean, she's not doing very well. I mean, she's not a very good lawyer, I don't think. And to put her in that position is just laughable, I think. And she was the one who was in charge when Epstein got his sweetheart deal, where he was basically on, house arrest for, I don't know how many years he was supposed to be on house arrest. And he basically didn't even get a slap on the wrist. I don't even know if he had to wear an ankle bracelet, but he did not get punished for what he was doing. They basically dropped more than half the charges and just said, okay, so we'll give you house arrest for this thing. And then he wasn't even at his house. He was able to go to an office every day. So it was like, what's the difference? He's still doing his job or his living his life. So anyway, that's what I have. So.
Yeah. Okay. So and we all know anybody who gets involved with Dumpy is going to end up committing crimes.
Yes.
Out of a job, out of favor. At some point, he's going to throw you under the cart.
Yeah. And it's funny, I would have thought that Hegseth would have been the first one out of that administration, but I was thinking with my logical brain and not with my what would Trump do brain. And the thing is that the stupider they are, the more Trump keeps them around because he can manipulate them. So, Hegseth will probably go down in flames with the fearless leader. He'll probably be there till the bitter end. But somebody like Bondi, who is somewhat smarter, I mean, she did make it through law school, so she's got to have some kind of a brain. Her neck is going to be on the chopping block. I think maybe neck. I mean,
I think they might do it something like, well, she did a good job and now she's decided to go to something better. But at first, that's falling apart. But then I asked if she would leave and I got a yes and a yes. It'll be an agreement. Because really, it's getting to the point where she doesn't want to be there either. Because look at this. Look at this. You see them. It's really interesting to watch people's faces when they're sitting next to him and he's just outright lying or saying, oh, the economy is great. America's safe. We finally got the criminals out. And they're just sitting there like Rubio is one of the strangest ones to watch because he knows. He knows darn well that none of that is true. And he just sits there like he's voodoo possessed or something. I mean, it's just bizarre.
He drank the Kool-Aid, man. Did you see him on June 14th at that stupid parade? Oh,
Yawning.
yeah. Like he was like, I don't know. I just pulled a couple of cards on Bondi whether she would leave. She will leave. She definitely will leave.
I feel like she will. And they'll just go, well, it's time for her to, she did a good job and now it's time to go. But it
Well,
might not, behind the scenes, it might not be that nice.
yeah. And the thing for her is that she still does have her law license. They haven't yanked it yet. Soon after she's gone, I bet within a year, somebody's going to pull that license from her. So if she doesn't leave while she still has the license, what's she going to do for a job? Maybe she doesn't have to work anymore. I don't know. But, I always think of that.
I feel like she'll lose her license.
Yeah, she's going to lose her license, but not yet. And so I think she's going to want to leave before she knows she's going to lose it. She just wants to secure some kind of a position before she loses it, because she could take some sort of advisory position or something where the law license is nice but not required. And then when she loses it, she won't lose that job. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what she's trying to set up. But anyway, that's Pam Bondi. Okay. So here we go. Now what do you want to talk about?
Should we have some questions, or I don't know?
Yeah, we do. I'll tell you.
You have some other things you wanted to look at the astrology?
Yeah, I do. Let me look at the starred questions and see if any of them. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, that's that thing. What's this? Okay. Now this person, Kathy Goodwin, says, can you read on the energy of the SCOTUS and any health issues they may have? Well, I did. It's kind of hard to look at the whole thing as a whole unless you're doing like tarot or something like that. But astrologically, I did pull Clarence Thomas's chart. This is going to be what's going on with him right now. And, he is having a Mars return, which means that this is starting a whole new cycle, for a 2-year cycle for him, and his Mars is in Virgo, which is, and you'll all relate to this. He has the energy of needing to be right and having everybody do things his way. It has to be right. That Mars and Virgo energy. He's a Capricorn rising, so it's his way or the highway. Between that and the Mars in Virgo, he just he will not brook disagreement. He will not allow people to disagree with either his methods or his opinions. He's got his Sun and Venus and Mercury in the 7th house. And this is why his wife is so important to him, because literally for him, the sun rises and sets with her. So when he got married to her, he really hitched his wagon to her totally for life. Now, as far as what's going on with him, Saturn and Neptune are sitting at the bottom of his chart. They are opposing his they've already opposed his Mars, which was probably a few headlines ago, and they're getting ready to oppose his Neptune. So he's going through a Neptune opposition, which means that he's going to be filled with lots of fantasy. He's not going to be able to deal with reality. It's just not going to be possible for him. It's going to be really, really hard. Where's his moon? Where's his moon? There it is, Aquarius. Ugh, this guy is so I'm so right. I know more than everybody else. He's just, it's really, really bad. And the thing is he needs to have around him a kind of cheerleading section. Like, he likes to operate within a pond of friends. Like, he doesn't like being on his own. So it was tough for him being like, when he was probably the only Black person in a class or something. That was really hard on him. He just did not like that. And it was hard for him to, frankly, make friends. That was something that he needed to learn how to do in this lifetime. And I'm not sure he really learned how to do it. So for him, what's coming up for him? Well, I'm going to tell you that he and Ginny have been talking a lot about what their plans are going to be. And I think they've been planning very carefully for what will happen if or when either one of them is brought up on charges, because they know that the tides are going to turn. I mean, Clarence is probably more in denial than Ginny, but they know the tide's going to turn. They know that they're not going to be sitting on top of this heap forever, that at some point there's going to be legal action against them, because Donald Trump's not going to live forever. and they know that. So I think that's what they're really looking at, and it's tough. It's really, really tough on them. Yeah, so that's what I see for him. It's just not really this new Mars cycle that he's starting is not going to be fun. The next 2 years for him are not going to be good. So that's what I have about him. Health-wise, let's see, that would be Mercury. Let's see. I think it's the health of his wife that's really going to be more important to him. He himself may have some really definitive health issues that cause him to want to stop working, but it's the health of his wife. I think she may, because she also has had some challenges with her mental health. And I think that also is going to rear its ugly head in the next 2 years. I think it's going to be really hard for the two of them. Not a great couple of 2 years for those two.
Yeah. Well, I thought we were looking at his health. I see him doing a lot of sneaky stuff, like passing notes under the table. So I feel like he's communicating with, it looks like to a woman, it might be to his wife, telling her what's going on, but yeah. I see him like communicating with somebody that is not, but this is not his wife. It's somebody he's not supposed to be communicating with. I'm not really sure what that's about. I thought we were looking at his health.
Oh,
so
sorry.
I feel like right away, his health is not good. And he could even be having some kind of little surgery issue or something. Yeah, something that needs to be taken care of like right away. I don't even know if we find out about it. Maybe that's what they're talking about, keeping it quiet.
Yeah.
So I'm
it's going to be secret.
What?
It's definitely going to be secret. All of the stuff that goes on with his health is definitely going to be secret.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So there probably is stuff going on that they're not talking about.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, about keeping his seat on the bench.
Here's another thing too. If he is going through any procedures right now, Mercury is getting ready to go retrograde. So whatever they do will probably have to be redone. So if he has a procedure of some kind, it's not going to take perfectly, and it will need to be redone. And that kind of thing, where he has a sensitive Mercury, because Mercury is ruling his 6th house, and then it goes retrograde and things go awry, those don't get resolved quickly. Those can take months, maybe 6 months to resolve. So that, I don't think that's very good for his health either.
Yeah. I also feel like he might, I don't know what the time frame is. Astrology is better with time frames. But I feel like right now he's putting up this like, everything's fine. I'm not going anywhere. But I feel like that could be up for either going one way or the other. And then he, yeah, I bet he's not going to stay there too long with that. He might, well, though, if he does step down, would it be okay if he does it while Dumpy's in? Because then they could just appoint another MAGA judge.
They could, but don't you think that things are going to kind of explode with the Dumpy regime, and the government's going to be all haywire? So there may not be somebody picked for quite some time. That looking at SCOTUS may be something that they're doing with the, once they take down the regime and do something else with the government. So
yeah,
I get that he's leaving too, that he's, and it's probably going to be for health reasons, or at least that's what they're going to claim.
What are you, okay, so, all right, yeah.
Okay. So, okay.
You want to look at some other people's astrology?
Sure. I could talk astrology all day, yeah. So, let's look at Benjamin Netanyahu.
Oh.
So Benny, as I like to call him, I know a lot of people call him BB, but I don't want to be that nice. So Benjamin Netanyahu. Let me see what kind of notes I made here. Oh, he had some fun thing.
Recently just bombed, I'm supposed to say that word, Syria. Just so
How nice.
they're probably blackmailing people too. I feel like he's got stuff on, like, I'll tell on you if you don't let me do. Like, I think he's been blackmailing American diplomats. How's he getting all this money? And we're all like, oh yeah, Israel. And now look what he's doing. And I love the Jewish people. I'm not against Jewish people. It's him. I don't feel like he's helping them. You know, I'm not on either side. I love all people. So in case anybody's thinking like, why aren't you mentioning the other side or something? I'm not saying anything like that. I love all people. I want there to be peace. But okay. But he's obviously starting wars so he can stay out of jail, which is, I mean, but I think he's been blackmailing America, getting, like, how is he getting all this money? I'm wondering if it has something to do with Epstein.
And you mentioned the Epstein blackmail thing too. Yeah. I think that Netanyahu's been doing it as long as Epstein has. I think it's been going on for decades. I think he's really good. His reputation on the world stage with diplomats and statesmen and politicians is that he is probably the craftiest and best expert in the world on American politics. Like, this guy knows it probably better than most of our.
Why are we giving him all this money?
Because he learned. He spent. You hear him speak. Obviously, he has spent a tremendous amount of time in the United States, and he has studied the political system here as if he's getting a PhD in it, and he really knows how it works and how to manipulate things. So he has mastered it, and he is continually using it to his own gains. And I think that when Dumpy and he first got to know each other, I think that Netanyahu really tried to school Dumpy on how things work. I don't think Dumpy was interested in learning it at all. I think he just thought, oh, I'll just have this guy do it for me when I need it, But aside from Putin, Netanyahu probably knows the American politics better than anybody on the planet. So I think, he's got a Mars transit right now going on top of his Saturn. So he is in a particularly feisty fighting mood, and he will be in that fighting mood for a while. This transiting Mars also happens to be squaring Venus, and those two happen to be making very difficult aspects to his personal Venus, which is conjunct his ascendant and pretty close to his Chiron, but really it's that Venus ascendant. And this is what has really helped Benny be successful. Anybody that has Venus really close to their ascendant or in their first house is a schmoozer. They're able to charm, they're able to facilitate, they're able to make things happen. And this is in the sign of Sagittarius, which is the sign of the statesman. So Benny is really good at this, and he's used to getting his own way. And Venus is also a planet having to do with money. So, he is going to gild the lily as much as he possibly can. But right now, Mars is squaring that. It's putting a stress aspect on his personality. And Venus, transiting Venus, is opposing this. So he's got a lot of stress and pressure coming on him right now, saying, not so fast. You're not going to get your way this time. All those little shenanigans are not going to work. So he's pissed and he's very stressed. And even when he had his last little visit to the White House, did he get what he wanted? No, because Dumpy was not happy with him and did not like what he had been doing. That Venus in Sag with his ascendant, by the way, is really, really powerful and positive as it regards Trump's chart. So in the past, they have been very good friends, but we all know that Dumpy is not loyal to his friends. He doesn't stay loyal. Now, it happens that for Sagittarius, loyalty is the be all end all. So when he sees somebody who's not loyal, this just makes him blow a gasket. Now he's between a rock and a hard place. How does he come back and confront or combat the guy who runs the United States, the most powerful person in the world? This is a conundrum for Benny. This is really, really hard. So he is in a very, very difficult position right now. Also, health-wise, he's not feeling good. He could be experiencing a lot of health issues and also just trying to ignore them, just not paying attention to them at all. And I'm getting that because the ruler of his sixth house is Taurus, and the ruler of that is Venus, but his Venus is an immutable sign, and they're good at ignoring things. Immutable signs are like, oh no, I'll do it tomorrow. It's okay. They're just rolling with it. They're just going along with it, and they're really not focusing on the hard stuff. Now he does have transiting Uranus that has just gone into his seventh house. That's his relationships, right? And so now his relationships are blowing up because Uranus is chaos and unpredictable behavior and unconventionality and not what you want, right? It's really, really hard. So Venus is transiting his seventh house, but as I mentioned, it's opposing his natal ascendant in Venus. Very difficult for him to navigate relationships and to get what he needs. And he's spending other people's money. He's spending too much money, and his friends, all of his allies in particular, are really pissed off. His own country is really pissed off because he's spending too much money on this stupid stinking war. Let's see what else. So we have Mercury is, the transiting Mercury, which is retrograde and is going to be hanging around here for 3 weeks, is sitting on top of his Pluto. And I think this is manifesting in him just contemplating and fixating on the destruction of Gaza, total destruction and transformation. Not good, Benny. Nobody wants you to do that. You're going to be the enemy of the world, not the darling of the world when you get done with this. So
Very sick.
He's not in a good place.
Yeah. Well, I think he has plans to take over countries. He's power hungry. When I look at, well, first of all, I'm going to back up. When you're talking about a loyal, like, I know we've all seen the movies like with gangsters and stuff, but what really bothers me about Dumpy is that you don't eat your own, or you don't children. There's certain things that are like, okay, we're not going to do that, but he has no ethics or nothing, not even honor among thieves. It just, right. And so I could see how that would bother Netanyahu, because at least, you have your boys, your guys, you stick together with at least them.
Yeah.
At least. No, I'm not saying that's okay. I'm not a gangster. I don't. And we all call The Godfather or whatever. I kind of wish that movie hadn't come, or The Sopranos, where it kind of glamorized, Billy the Kid, whatever. That would, I'm like a Robin Hood person, but steal from the rich and give to the poor. But other than that, I'm not. But anyway, that was interesting that you said that. When I looked at him in the next year, I felt like he kind of is getting by. He feels more isolated, like a lot of other countries don't like what he's doing. Mm-hmm. But when I look at him for 2 years from now, this is not good.
Yeah.
This is not, I feel like he will be out of power, having a lot of trouble, leaving, money problems. Yeah. So when the Democrats get in there, that's what I wanted to ask about the midterm. When they get in there, well, we can do that. That might be another show, because that might be.
Yeah, that might be another show.
Yeah. So, but when they do get, I do, and a lot of other psychics have looked, and we see us winning. So I think when we get in there, we need to start, saying, no, we can't keep funding these wars. And I feel like he'll lose his money, and I don't see him going to jail over there, or I don't see that at this point. Of course,
don't you think he'd leave the country? He'd leave Israel and go hide out somewhere else?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he needs a place to hang those beautiful suits and ties that he wears, Yeah. He spent a lot of money on those, so he's not going to let that happen.
I just want to say hello to all our viewers. Thanks for joining. And if we don't get to your questions, you do other shows where you answer the questions?
I try to, but then there's more questions to go there. So, I try.
And things change so fast these days. People I leave questions and then, but
it's already answered by reality. So
yeah. So, but thank you for being here, and just want to say hello to that.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. I forgot to do that. Thank you so much. And again, people, I'm so terrible at the chat. Please forgive me. I am trying, but I'm just I'm just really
You don't have a moderator here.
Yeah, no moderator. Sister
We're just
is
trying
not
to
here.
do it ourselves, and we're just about Mercury retrograde. So
Yeah, we are. We are.
Love you. Glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
There's lots of really amazing questions that we haven't seen. I haven't been looking at any of them because I'm just looking at energy.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're there. Who's got a cat?
Me. She's walking in front of me.
Trying to feed your cat.
No, I fed her before the show, but she just wants attention.
Have something to say.
I have been so busy. She's really gotten the short end of the stick. So, this is a good question. This goes back to Ghislaine. Just announced Representative Tim Burchett is asking, will Ghislaine Maxwell testify? He's asking her to testify to the Oversight Committee. Let's read on that.
To the Oversight Committee?
Yeah.
I thought the Republicans just voted that they can't do that.
Well,
they can have another. So I don't know the rule.
That's just a committee. It's not. It's not a whole bill or anything.
Okay, so the minority can have an oversight committee without the Republicans. Well, that would be awesome. That's where we ought to go. Yeah. Let's see. Will she testify? What's the question? Will she testify before Congress?
Yeah, before Congress to the Oversight Committee. I'm going to say who is on. No, that didn't work.
Okay. I got
Go ahead.
I don't know if it's this oversight committee, but I asked basically, will she testify at Congress? I feel like, yes, you are in your astrology, that yes, I want to. She wants to move forward. She's like, if this is all a hoax, what am I doing here? Or if it isn't, because she's getting paid a pretty penny in there to keep her mouth shut and hide all this stuff. She's got the goods. I heard there's somewhere where if anything happens to her, it'll get released. All the stuff gets released. So that sounds right. I believe that. Some of my abilities, when I hear something or see somebody say something, I can tell if that's true or not. But I feel like you're right. She wants to go. Duppy's going to stop her. But she's coming anyway. I don't know when or which one, but she's going to do this.
Yeah. Now, what do you think of this? I have felt for a long time that Ghislaine is working probably with more than one attorney. I think one attorney is just in possession of things that she wants held so that nobody can get them. and that if she passes, that they have instructions on how to release it to the public and what to release to the public. That's one attorney. And then I think she has an attorney or a set of attorneys that are representing her legally in her cases. What do you think of that?
That sounds like about right.
Yeah, because she's a smart person.
No,
so Tim Burchett is from Tennessee, and he is on the committee. But here's what worries. It's a huge committee. It's a lot of people. But here's what worries me. James Comer is the chairman.
Committee?
Huh?
Oh, the oversight committee. Okay.
Yeah.
James Comer.
Gomer Pyle is the chairman. Jeez. I mean, that's going to be tough. But so this also tells me that as things with this regime, with this administration happens and things are broken down or broken apart or outright ended, that Congress will still go on in some form and that this committee may very well hear from Ghislaine. I mean, it's not, if she's going to testify, that's not going to happen in 2 weeks. I don't think. What do you think?
When?
Well, rough. I mean, I'm thinking it's months out, not weeks.
I think he tries to stop it at first. It'd probably be, I mean, whatever, he's going to get the GOP to stop it. That's what the card said, but eventually she'll get through. So when? Will it be this year? Could be.
Could be at the end of the year, right?
Could be, yeah.
But see, I'm thinking by the end of the year, the dumpsters regime is not in power anymore.
You think? Okay.
I do.
What's going to take them down? What are you seeing? Because I just see them not there. I don't know, like there's this path, and there's the different choices of like how he's going to not be there.
I think it's a confluence of events and a confluence of things. I think that there are, I think that there is energy building for things like a resurrection of the documents case. I think there's things building for a real case about the interference of the election of the VOTES. I think there's a real energy swelling for the manipulation of elections in other countries. I think that there's also real power swirling around money laundering and his involvement with that in the whole world, in other countries, right? So I think that there are, and that's just a few, that's just off the top of my head. There are so many things that he has done that cause us to know that he deserves to be not sitting in that house, that any one of those things really should take him down, but they won't. It's the confluence of all of them building energy and building steam and all coming sort of together. And that's why now I also heard from, I can't remember where I heard this from, but that our former president put into place a plan that should the election be shown to be illegitimate, we'll just use that word. Kitty, you can't move my cards like that. If it's found to be illegitimate, that the government, the military would somehow take over and, deconstruct the current administration and set up some sort of temporary situation so that they could, figure out what to do. And I have an idea of what they're going to do, but that's probably for another show too. So
sorry, my dog got my attention.
That's okay. That's okay. So we have this interim government, things happen, yada, yada. But the bottom line is that's how that's as much as I know about how they're going to get him out.
And it just takes, now that the billionaires got their tax break, then after they got the tax break, then a lot of the GOP is going, well, let's call back some money. Let's change some things, because they just wanted to get that through. And now that they got that, I'm feeling like that's kind of why this Epstein thing broke out, because now it's okay. Now, and it just, all it takes is one phone call from somebody to say, okay, because you only need a couple of senators, or even they don't have a big margin. You just need somebody's donor, some big donor, to make a phone call and say, okay, we're done with this guy. We're done with this. It's gone too far. And so, and yeah, I did see, like about a month ago, I was sitting here looking at the energy, and I saw him stealing all this money and shipping it overseas. We don't even know all the stuff he's done. And the other thing is, then I thought, like, oh, that makes sense, because I'm like, why did he take the documents? Yes, to show to people, to show off, because he wanted to be the king with all the, all the things to show off and have power. Yes, but also because he took the Epstein files. It all makes sense now. Why is the Supreme Court going along with all this crap? Because they know they're protecting people.
They're protecting themselves, probably. They're protecting themselves. They're all in there too, probably.
Well, I think for entertainment purposes only, I think Thomas.
Yeah.
For him, I don't know about the others, but I think for him.
Yeah. Sure. Oh, yeah. Let me qualify that. Yeah, I really think Thomas. Not sure about any of the other goons, but Thomas. But yeah, I think they're all in protection mode. And think too, going back to what you're saying about the the tech bros, the oligarchs, the technogarchs, that they are they kind of got what they want now. But think of the damage that is being done to. Let's just focus on two of them: Amazon, Jeff Bezos, and Apple, Tim Cook. I mean, they have taken hits. Their
People don't like it.
Yeah, but they have taken such hits in with this regime. I bet they can't wait to get him out of there. Even little Marky Zuckerberg, with his Meta, he's taken a hit because that business has changed 180. Yeah. Nobody likes it anymore.
They thought it was going to be like the first time, and they thought, we'll get our tax breaks and if business will be good, but they didn't realize this time you cave to him and he owns you. You no longer have a business. He wants to, you give him an inch, you give him something, he'll take it all. So he wants everything from everybody. He's got nobody he's loyal to.
Right.
Nobody. So yeah, people are getting tired of that, and they're just,
Well, Sibyl, it's been an hour.
All right. I have to go too. My dog is like, dinner time.
But I just want to say, I'm going to rewatch this show and make notes on all the things that we said. Yeah, that's another show. And one other thing I want to put in the next time we meet is how Trump has turned on Putin. I think that's an incredibly interesting relationship.
Wow, I know. So he turns on everybody. I think his brain's going, but
I do too.
Okay, but let's look at deeper dive and let's look at the astrology. Let's do this again.
Yes.
Really
okay.
Cool.
So
thanks everybody.
Thank you everyone in the chat. Thank you for putting up with me. I know I'm so terrible at this, but I do try. And maybe next time my sister will be here and she can really keep track of the questions.
You can answer more of the questions.
Yeah. So I'm gonna sign off now for everybody. But Sibyl, if you could just give me 2 seconds afterwards and stay on so we can discuss just a little bit more the next show. And everybody, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. And me and Sibyl will be back very soon because we keep talking about it.
Wait, I just want to say one thing to the people in the chat, your followers. And I think this comes, I know you have a similar sentiment. We're going to get through this. It sounds crazy. This is just insane. But this needed to happen so that all the corruption could be seen. And this is the old paradigm, because the age of Aquarius is not here yet, but it is coming. And we're coming into a new time when we won't have this. But right now, we're just in the thick of all this. We are living through a really important, intense, difficult time in history. And we are here and we are doing it. So we need to be brave, show up, subscribe, vote, donate, say prayers, be kind to neighbors. People are going through a hard time now. So it's, be with your family, love your pets. It's a time to really go in and really, it's a sacred time. It's a difficult time, but through every difficult time, there is always growth and healing on the other side. And we are not on the other side right now, but we are going to get through this.
Yes. Oh, 100%. I agree with you. So everybody, just make sure you continue to shine your light and send love and light to everyone, even those that you hold disagreement with. It is so important to just love, 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 love. For one thing, it pisses them off, those that you disagree with. It just really pisses them off. But eventually they get the love and light and then they feel better and then they're not so annoying anymore.
I even do that in traffic. What?
Yeah, right.
I love that. I even do that. Like if someone honks at me in traffic, I go, "Thank you. Have a good day."
Oh my God. Yes, that's great.
You're like, what is she doing?
All right. We'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks so much. Love and light.